Happy Friday, everybody. I'm having to use my little Sony CyberShot, and I hope the quality's not too sucky. I'm charging the battery on the other one. Oh my goodness, hen fight. Girls, chill. I don't know how to say this except to say the gurus are out in the forest today. A little lady who, she just got her first chicks, or was getting her first chicks, and she was saying, she said, I don't want to have to start vaccinating birds, and I don't have to have vaccinations and antibiotics do it forever. Do people ever manage their birds so that they build immunity and blah, 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 blah? And, you know, she was afraid she'd start to have to use these medications and keep going forever and ever, and I don't know. Well, that wasn't actually the point of this conversation. What the point is someone popped in here and said, oh, you need to go listen to this person. She's fabulous. She has all natural management and blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, okay, I happen to know this person, this guru who has a following of minions, I will put it that way. And, now don't get me wrong, I am all for natural everything as long as it works. I am all for natural. I'm all for building the immune systems of the hens. I have my chickens have strong immune systems. I have nothing contagious has ever gotten in here. One time years ago, a group of birds got a fungal infection, and it was a very strange summer. It was very dry and extremely hot, and for here, and I was wetting their pens down, and you'll find out that fungal infections, the spores, something is dry, and the spores get released, and they breathe in the spores, and they bloom in their lungs. That's really kind of oversimplified explanation, but then they start breathing like like an old-fashioned percolator, coffee pot. There's no discharges. There's nothing coming out of their eyes or nose. They just deep in their lungs sound like a coffee pot. It's a fungal infection. Well, it sounds, unless you investigate the situation, you might think that they have mycoplasmosis or something. Well, you can't really treat a fungal infection. You don't use antibiotics for that because it doesn't do anything for that. It might make it worse. So I took Oxine, investigate Oxine, O-X-I-N-E, and put a solution of that in a vaporizer, and I misted the birds. They breathed in that thing, and Oxine kills bacteria, viruses, funguses, and all that, and they were all better. So, and it's never happened since then. It was just a very strange summer. I don't know what the spores were, where it came from, but it was very odd. Anyway, this guru claims that in, I don't know, 40 years of chicken keeping, or I don't know how long. I don't know how old this person is. I don't even know this person's real name. I just know the screen name. Never had a sick bird, ever. And my answer to that's poppycock. First of all, people, on the surface it sounds great. All natural, it works, and she never had any sick birds, and blah, blah, blah. I happen to know that if a bird looks funny or she senses a problem, the axe comes out. Now, what does that mean? That means you don't have a clue what was wrong with that bird. You have no clue. You don't know if she had a fungal infection. You don't know if she had an injury. You don't know what was going on. You have no clue. She could have had something contagious. You know, and that's fine to call a bird who has something contagious, but the point is, there's no way of knowing. If every time a bird looks off, you grab an axe and take its head off, you have no clue. And so your claim that you've never had a sick bird in blah, 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 X number of years of keeping because of your all-natural management style is just a load of bull hockey. Things happen. My management style is to, you know, fresh air, sunshine, as much green forage as I can. I let them out on range where there's green stuff growing as much as I can. I have to alternate groups because I've got roosters and they don't get along. And, you know, I have predators here too, so I have to watch what, you know, when I let them out and when I make them stay in the big pen. It's a big pen, but, you know, there's nothing really green growing in it too much. So you know, and you know, you give them things to supplement their immune system. You know, you give them every once in a while. You give them some minced garlic, or you put some turmeric. I don't have people say turmeric. It's got an R in there. If it's turmeric or turmeric or how you pronounce it. You put that in there. It's supposed to be a cancer-fighting spice. You know, cayenne pepper. All that stuff is good as far as fighting its immune system. You know, pumpkin seed. People claim that warms chickens. Well, that's not the whole story. Pumpkin seed has curcumin in it, and that will paralyze some worms so they can be expelled. They leave out the part where you're supposed to give them the pumpkin seed and then do a molasses flush to make them poop a lot and get out the dead worms. But the thing is, it does not kill the tough worms like capillaria. So, you know, if your chicken's got worms, it can die. If you really have a big worm load, it can die. And people pen their chickens 24/7. They don't get out on range to eat natural wormers and such, and you know, they can get overloads. So, what happened, girls? You get scared? Poor Neela's limping there. She's got bad arthritis in one joint. You see, she's about 7.5 years old. But so they're touting this guru, and she's got people following her around and believing what she says, and she's pretty much misleading the heck out of these people. You know, and some people might say, well, you know, you're a guru. People follow what you say. But you know, there's a huge difference. I don't claim that I've never had a bird have a problem. I don't claim that all natural, I do all natural, and that I won't resort to grabbing valbazen to warm my birds if they need it, or I won't grab poultry dust if I think one might have, an old hen who doesn't dust bathe might have developed mites. I'm not going to claim any of that stuff. Natural's wonderful as long as it works, but you know what? When it's not working, I'm going to do something that's going to help the bird's health. Because all these ailments can kill the bird, make them anemic, kill them, whatever. So I'm not going to claim infallibility like some of these gurus do. I'm not going to make false claims. I don't cull my birds at 2 years old. I got birds who are 8, 9, 10, and almost 11 years old. And a couple of those very, very old ones still lay periodically. At least once a year they'll have a laying session of a couple of months. So they're healthy. I've never had any contagious disease here. A fungal infection that one weird summer? Yeah. In a handful of birds in one pen. And, you know, I think poor Atlas got pneumonia. He's got one hen that poops wet all the time. I've tried probiotics. I've tried everything. I'm losing my audience here. Hello, little man. They've got wide roosts because Atlas has joint problems. And he had a hen that roosts next to him, and her poop is always, she poops lakes of wet stuff. And last winter, that poor boy, oh my goodness, don't be mean to the babies. Zara, you mean old heffalump. He got pneumonia. He was the only one. It's not contagious. He was standing in the lakes during the winter. Of course the poor boy got pneumonia. I have not been able to fix that girl's poop for nothing. I've done everything, and I don't know what it is. It's something about that particular hen. So, am I going to say, oh, well, I'm just going to take his head off because he got pneumonia? Well, no, I'm not. I don't mind giving antibiotics if it's needed. Hi, buddy. Oh, my little boys want to get away from the big old evil hens, and somebody just jumped on my chair back here. Hello, sweet baby. You know, these gurus, they want to make these, what I call false claims. Basically, they're lying like a rug. Because when you take off a bird's head and you don't know what was wrong with it, then you can't say you've never had any illness in your flock. You can't say that. And I'm not even talking contagious. She doesn't know what it was. I mean, internal laying, egg yolk peritonitis. You can have fungal infection. You can have. I had a hen who had seizures. A little tiny Bantam hen had seizures. I think she had a stroke and she was seizing, and her seizures got worse and worse, and I had to euthanize her. Was it contagious? No. Did my non-all-natural management style make her have a stroke? No. Sorry, camera died on me. I will say this, and this is what works for me. I've never used a vaccination. I've never bought a vaccinated chick to my knowledge, other than one time from a hatchery shipment. I got a New Hampshire and a Buff Orpington. Later, and I hadn't even bought hatchery birds for years, but I thought I would like to have a New Hampshire. I had had some earlier, and this is a different hatchery than I ever tried, and I sold them before they were ever, they even laid an egg. They were claimed to be Merrick's vaccinated. I don't know if that was the case. My policy is don't buy vaccinated chicks, don't vaccinate chicks for anything. Coccidiosis, Merrick's, anything. But I sold them because they were such bad examples of the breed. So anyway, there's never been any Merrick's disease here, no contagious illness ever. And I will never vaccinate for anything, even if something shows up here eventually. But, you know, I manage mine by building healthy immune systems. That's the way it is, you know. My feed still has animal protein in it, and they get a lot of fresh air, sunshine, as much time on range as they can get. Their accommodations in the barn are all uncrowded, and I try to keep them as dry. I clean their barn more than I clean my house, truthfully. So, you know, no matter how you manage your birds, all natural or whatever, things happen. Your birds are not in a plastic protective dome, right? If you cull any bird that looks funny with no investigation as to what the cause is, you can absolutely not say that you've never had a sick bird. I mean, I'm not even talking contagious. So this all natural, these claims this person is making, I'm basically calling them a liar right here, because they don't know. Not culling them at 2 years. I mean, things happen even with the best and healthiest management styles. No protective dome, right? Remember that? So I'm all for natural as long as it's working. When it doesn't, I'm not making my birds suffer for some principle. So somebody told me today, said, because the longevity and the overall health of your birds, even at the advanced age, is proof that you're doing something right. And I said, well, first of all, thank you. Second, it makes me ask the question, begs the question. If these people who claim they don't do anything chemical, it's all natural, that they've never had a sick bird, if they didn't cull them at a couple of years old, would they live as long as mine? And if they did, would they all suffer from worm overloads? Would they be covered with lice and mites? What would happen? Would they live as long as mine and the health that mine have? I don't know. But they don't. They've never tried it. And, you know, it doesn't matter what you do, but you're not going to prevent anything that's a genetic hormone-based malfunction of a hen. I don't care if you give them all natural this and that, and you never give them a chemical and they have all the fresh air, sunshine. If something is genetically inherent in stock, you're not going to fix that. I don't care what your management style is, so don't be making them claims. I don't ever buy started birds, not even chicks. And all my birds are healthy. They have some what I call old age issues with arthritis, with stiff hock joints. One of my 10-year-old Easter egger hen has always had giant eggs, and in her last year she's had problems with the eggs collapsing inside the tract and having to basically be prolapsed. She's prolapsed a couple of times, but she's almost 10 years old. This is what I consider an aging reproductive tract on this bird, and that combined with her very large eggs. So, in summary, to me, the very best management is fresh air, sunshine, green forage, good quality feed, no unnecessary medications, including vaccinations. But if you need to worm them. Because worms can kill birds, and so-called natural wormers are really only mild preventatives. So this is what I mean by not letting them suffer for a principle. You just don't let them suffer because you go, I'm only going to do all a natural management. I'm not going to do anything else. Well, that's great, but if it's not working, why are you going to make your bird suffer? Build the immune system using natural methods and good quality, clean, fresh, appropriate feed for the age and the function of the animal. But You know, and this same guru, also a proponent of fermented feed. So she's touting that. And so anything she says, people follow. Well, she claims infallibility. I don't. And I never will. And I won't tell you that. If I have a problem with a bird, you know, I'll tell you. I mean, I've told what problems I have with my birds. I tell you how I manage my birds. But who else has got a huge number of 8, 9, 10, and 11-year-old birds that some still lay and their shell quality is fabulous? Who does? I mean, it's not bragging. It's just saying this is what you can have, and you don't have to make false claims about how wonderful you are and how your management style. You never do this and you always have that. There's no forever and always about chicken keeping. But decide ahead of time how you're going to handle things if they happen, so you won't be on the spot and overly stressed when something bad does happen, when it does come up. And it will, because it just does. That's life. Folks do tend to overcomplicate chicken keeping until it's no longer fun. And that includes the all-natural people. They overcomplicate it till it's just not fun anymore. And if you get a sick bird and you followed this person's advice and something happens, guess what? They're going to put the blame on you, not on them, because, of course, they would never tell you anything wrong. So, that's all I have to say for today. This is Gypsy. Gypsy's one of my 10-year-old hens. Look at that feather quality. You see that feather quality? She's had dry, good quality feed her whole life with animal protein in it. Never fermented feed. So, you know what? If it ain't broke, you don't fix it, right?